What's happening, everyone? Just wanted to say thanks for tuning into this week's update, and I'm going to share my screen. We'll get things kicked off here momentarily. Hope everyone's having a great long weekend. I had a super busy week last week, so it's nice to just relax and get caught up on some sleep. So first and foremost, looks like the market took a nice rebound. As you can see, we're back over the $500 billion mark, and in my personal opinion, I don't think it'll be too long before we hit 800 billion again, where we were before the correction, and probably a trillion here within the next few months, in my opinion. But again, before we get started, this is just full disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and all investments have risks. So the topic for today, I'm going to keep this one short. I know it's a holiday, so I know people don't want to, they want to spend time with family and things like that. So you're probably in chill mode. So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet again. But guys, a lot of people I talk to, they say they want to get involved, and you call them the no coiners, right? There's this term in the crypto space. You call them no coiners if they don't have a Bitcoin or any coins for that matter. And there's usually a few different reasons why they don't get involved. A is because, the average household is $300 away from, this is Stats Canada, says the average household's $300 away from bankruptcy each month. So what's that tell you is that a lot of people don't have a whole lot of money to invest. And when people think of investing, they think of the stock market, where in some cases, you have to have a lot of money to really make a yield. But it's just not exactly the case. I don't believe it to be true at all. You always have to start somewhere. So the format of this update here today is just going to be for the people that aren't really invested. Maybe you are invested a little bit and you've only got a couple $100. I'm just going to show you the potential of what can happen on a few examples, with starting with only $50 to $100. Okay, so we'll get right into it. So the coins that I'm going to use as examples here today is Z Classic, Verge, Ethereum Classic, and Pro Currency. So basically, let's say with the major correction that just happened in the last few weeks, let's just say you were going to get involved and everybody was telling you it's a good time to buy. You said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to invest. So let's say $60 for this example. So let's say you decided to buy Z Classic as a starting point. So we'll go back to February 6th. I have it here on the Excel sheet. This is just a formula Excel sheet that has the formulas built in, so it'll give you a nice visual representation of what's going on and how I got to that number. So we'll go back to February 6th here on CoinMarketCap. As you can see, we hit a low of $56 that day. So let's just say a modest $60 you got in, you set a buy order, you bought Z Classic at $60, and the value of the coin today is currently 187. If you look at it, I have here I wrote down the 17th of February. So if we go to the 17th, it hit a high of 194. So I used a value of 190. Okay, so you bought in at $60, you got a full Z Classic, and let's say you sold it or sold some of it on the 17th at $190. You've already, almost tripled. You have tripled your investment. So with that being said, let's say you kept $100. So you're going to split this. You're going to take some profit. And so on the 17th, let's say you took some profit. You left $100 into Z Classic, which you now have half a Z Classic, little over half. And let's say you put $45. So you had 190, you left 100 in, you took the other 90 and you split it up into Verge and Ethereum Classic on the 17th. So for example, Verge, $45 is what you bought in with your profits. So if we go back to the 17th, Verge opened at 6.8, 6 cents. Right here, as you can see. So I have that written in. I plug that into the formula, and it shows here that your $45 is now worth $131, and we'll just say that this is sometime in March. I didn't put we don't know, because I'm just using this as an example, right? But we know this for sure. If you invested $60 on the 6th and you cashed out on the 17th, or sold some of it, took some profits, you'd have $190. That's facts. That's already happened. So now we'll just, as a hypothetical situation, and you can check coinmarketcap.com for any updated price. This is just hypothetical. So again, you have $100 that you left in the Z Classic. Let's just say sometime in March, the coin goes to $300. Well, you had 190 and now you're back up to $157.89. So let's say Verge, you split that, you put the $45 of your profits into that. Let's just say sometime in March, the coin goes to 20 cents, right? That's $131.91. And then your other $45 that you took from your profit of Z Classic, and this doesn't, months either, guys. This is from February 6th to February 7th, right? So just a couple of weeks, and you're going to see a massive, massive difference here, right? A massive return. So an ROI on your initial investment. So moving on, we look at Ethereum Classic. You put on the 17th $45 into Ethereum Classic. On the 17th, it opened at $34. It's currently $39. So you put $45 in at 35, so you ended up with 1.28 Ethereum Classic. Let's say sometime in March, Ethereum Classic goes to $100, which is very, very possible, because if you look here in the, I'll just go to the all-time historical data. So we'll go back here and we'll look what it was there a couple of weeks ago, right? So $40, $50, right? So the chances of that going to $100 here in the course of the next month or two, very, very likely. So if you took $45, put it into Verge of the profits. You took the other $45 of your profits and put it into Ethereum Classic. Let's say Ethereum Classic goes to $100. That's $128.68 that your Ethereum Classic would be worth. So let's just go back here for a moment. We started with $60. Once it got to $190, a couple weeks later, you took some profit. You left $100 into Z Classic, $45 into Verge, $45 into Ethereum Classic. We'll add this up. So sometime in March, let's say, if this works out perfectly, it's not a perfect world, it won't work out this way, but this is an idea and to show you of what's possible. I could have picked 10 or 20 different coins that this has happened, and I could have went on past data and I could have showed you, multiple different instances that this would be possible. So again, this is just, what could happen over the next few months. So let's say it happened out 100%, maybe it doesn't do quite as good. Maybe it does even better, right? Maybe it exceeds these expectations. But let's just say it hit what I put in here for values. You'd have a $418 portfolio off a $60 investment in just over a month. So then, you take some profits from Ethereum Classic, and you take some profits from Verge now, you take some profits from Z Classic, and you do it all again. You hold a base value in each of those, and then you start building your portfolio. And before you know it, you turn 400 into 800, and then you turn 800 into 1600, turn 16, into 32, and then before you know it, you're over $6,000 US. So now we're talking, right? Now you mean business. You started with a $60 investment. So whether or not, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin to get involved. A lot of people think, well, it's too expensive for me now. I can't get involved now. But you can buy, $20 worth of a Bitcoin. You can buy 1% of a Bitcoin. You can buy 5 cents of a Bitcoin if you want. So don't limit yourself, right? Don't think that you missed the boat. There's still tons of time. Again, this isn't guaranteed, but I would be, I would expect to see more than this. I was being conservative here. So $400 off a $60 initial investment is not too shabby. And I'll just share with you a personal investment of mine. One of the very first investments that I made when I got into the crypto world was Pro Currency. So if we go over to Pro Currency here, you'll see that over the last month or so, I bought it on December 22nd. So we'll go over here and hit a low of, just around 1 cent, 1.5 cents. So I purchased $500 on Cryptopia. It's an exchange. You can look that up if you haven't heard of it. It's the only one that Pro Currency was on at the time. So I signed up for Cryptopia. I bought $500 worth of Pro C at 1.5 cents. Then on the 13th of January, we'll scroll up here. And again, guys, this isn't a long time. This is 30 days or less in most cases. And if you look at it on the 13th of January, it hit 14 cents. Now it did hit, if we scroll up here, it did hit 18 cents, close to 20 cents. But I didn't hold it for that long. Whenever it got to 14 cents on January 13th, that's when I sold it. But as you can see, I turned a $500 investment into $4,666 US. So you don't need to have a ton of money to get started here. And maybe you don't even have $500. Let's just break it down. Let's just say for all example purposes, you started, let's say on the same dates on, on December 22nd or December 21st, you invested $50 at 1.5 cents for Pro C. You'd have 3,338 coins at the time. And if you would have sold whenever I sold whenever it hit the 14 cents, or let's even say you sold it when it hit 20 cents. That's $666, devil's advocate, but that's $666 that you made off a $50 investment. And then, you leave $300 or $400 in and you let it ride, and then you take $200 and you invest it into, I don't know, Verge, Ethereum Classic, C Classic, or any of the other, top 20, 30 coins, you should be more than fine, right? So I hope you've got some value out of this today, and I hope I was able to, spark a light bulb, or, just give you a visual representation of what can happen with a small amount of money, because compounding profits can add up very quickly, and especially in the cryptocurrency market space, we haven't seen anything like this. I personally haven't seen anything like this. It's one of the greatest transfers of wealth in history. So it just compresses time frames. You can, it's not a 5-10 year plan or 20 or 30 year plan like most RRSPs. Not saying you shouldn't have RRSPs and stocks and other investments. Put 5-10% of your investment portfolio into cryptocurrency, and just start with 50. Get to 50 to 100, 100 to $200, get to 200 to 4, 400 to 8, and then as soon as before too long, you're almost into the the $2,000 range, right? So again, guys, hope you got some value out of this today. That's it for me today. So if anybody has any questions, if anybody has any topics that they'd like me to cover in the future, just be sure to drop a comment on the video below, and we'll be sure to handle that, make a video on it sometime in the future. So again, guys, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.